Good evening. Welcome to our lead consultant focus specific training for February. I'm really excited to start these, and I really hope that these are going to be helpful for you. So I'm going to jump right in because I don't want to, take up too much of your guys' time, and really just kind of get a hold of what we really want to take away from all of this. So as a lead consultant, okay, so you've gone through the beginning stages, right? You've been an essential consultant. You've promoted to certified, which means that you've gotten to your initial 1,000 cumulative PRV. And when you promote to lead, that means you at least have one team member and they've gotten active, and that your GWV has gotten to a minimum of 1,000. So first of all, step back and congratulate yourselves, because this is a big deal. When you look at the compensation plan for Scentsy, at lead consultant, this is when the generational, or not generational, but the bonuses really start to take a major play, not only in your paycheck, but also for just you as a leader, right? Like, you've got at least one person, if not more, that you are leading and moving forward and building on your really strong foundation. So this is a big deal. Now, one of the other things that I really want to make sure that you guys understand is, again, at the title of lead, this is the title, and you'll continue to do this as you grow your business, that you want to be focused on being paid at title every single month. So, as a lead consultant, what does that mean to be paid a title? This means that you have three requirements that you absolutely have to do to be paid a title. You personally have to have a minimum of 500 PRV in a month. You at least have to have one active team member, meaning they're at least active is 200, and I'm talking US dollars here. So 200 PRV. And your group wholesale volume, or GWV, needs to be a minimum of 1,000. Now, one of the questions that you may find yourself is, how do I find this information? How do I know where we're at? All you have to do is log into your workstation. The dashboard will be there, and that dashboard is there to really clue you in. Of course, you're going to see your PRV, you're going to see TWV and GWV. Now, your GWV, that is your group wholesale volume. That is you and anyone else who has either joined under you, or maybe it's somebody who's joined under you and they have also begun to start sponsoring and maybe have one team member or more. Okay. So that is you and what we would call your downline, everybody underneath you. So this is something that every single month, being paid at title means, like we've kind of talked about in our Tuesday training meetings and other trainings, right, is not leaving money on the table. Okay. So this is you and your ability to not only maximize the amount of money that you're going to make in income, but also meaning you're not leaving money sitting on the table. And when I say money sitting on the table, that is when you have a month where you are not paid at title, meaning you had the opportunity to have bonuses on your downline in your team. Okay. So this is where really that business mindset and hobby mindset, it really comes into play, because this is the point where you kind of have to make a decision, if you haven't already. Is this a business? Is this a hobby? When I say business, I'm talking either like side income, part-time, whatever, side hustle, whatever you want to call that, right? Or you're working to get this to a place where it will be your full-time income. Okay. So that's what I mean by business. Hobby is a hobby, right? So being paid at title, you may or may not focus on if this is simply a hobby. If you are somebody who has set a goal for yourself where I want to make X amount of dollars every single month, let me tell you, paid at title is needs to be number one on your list of things to do every single month, because that's how you're going to get yourself to that dollar point. Okay. Another thing that is also going to help you and will also set you on a really great path is really working on your own personal sales. Because remember, every single month you have the opportunity to earn the monthly sales award. What that takes is a minimum of 2,000 PRV personally. That is your sales, right? So when you hit a minimum of 2,000 PRV, you earn an additional 5% commission. So instead of being paid 25% commission on your sales, you will then be paid 30% commission on your sales. Let's do the math. 30% of 2,000 is $600. That is right there, bare bones, $600. That is also not counting any bonuses from your team. Now, of course, to learn a little bit more about this, you can open up any catalog. You can go to the workstation, search for compensation plan. You can also go to your own personal website. Go there, hit the join page. You will be able to see the compensation plan there as well. So a couple different ways that you can get to it if you're not familiar with it. But that's how you can really break it down to see how much money you can make in a month. When I say this is a business and can very well be a full-time business, it can, but you have to put in the work. Again, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a, I joined Scentsy, next month I'm going to be able to retire from my job. It's not that unless you're putting in the work and the time. So you have to be putting in that work and that time. This is also a very good time to really set up your schedule and your boundaries if you haven't already done so. And I really speak to those of you who may have that job outside of Scentsy, right? Like you don't just do Scentsy. You either have a job outside of the home, you go to school, or you've got other obligations that really require more of your full attention, right? And Scentsy is something that you either do, after all of that is done, on the weekends, however it is that you work your business, whatever that looks like to you. So I was that person for a long time, up until 2018. Okay. And so I, for one, can completely understand the struggle to find the balance between how do I balance being a mom and a wife and having my full-time job and also succeed in my Scentsy business and growing this further, because I want this to grow into something further. How do I do that? So there is a fine line. And let me tell you from my own personal experience that the best way to figure that out is to brainstorm it out. Now, that may mean sitting down with a notebook and looking at what time you have to dedicate to your Scentsy business. I'll give you an example. I worked for a healthcare system for the last 7 or 8 years, something like that, of my career there. I was in a management position. So my days looked really chaotic and crazy. I was also a trainer. I took part in doing training and leadership um, for not only my own department, but for other departments within the health system. And so my schedules during the day were filled with meetings, maybe doing trainings, setting all these different things up. I did not have time, nor could I, okay, in my position, have my phone out, looking at my Facebook, checking any messages, responding back to texts from team members, right? It was really a touch and go thing. Like, oh my gosh, I've got 5 minutes while I'm running to the bathroom. Let me check my email real quick. And that's quite honestly how it looked for a long time for me. And so it wasn't until I would get home from my job, and some nights were crazier than others because there may have been reports or things that I still needed to do when I got home for the job. But I would then make dinner, and usually it was kind of between the hours of like 8:30 and 10:30, right? So it was like after dinner was done, after I would get, and Madison was younger in those days, right? After I would get her settled in bed, that was like the only time that I had for my business. So some nights that maybe looked like 30 minutes, some nights it looked like 2 or 3 hours. Then on the weekends, I could, of course, dedicate more time. So I will tell you firsthand that the only way that I was able to do that successfully was because I sat down and planned out what I was going to work on each day of the week. Even if I only had 30 minutes, what was I going to work on? What were the number one things I needed to do? Now, when you are a lead consultant, then you at least, again, remember we talked about this, you at least have one team member on your team at this point, maybe more, okay, but you at least have one. And so having that one, it can be easier, I will say that, because as your business continues to grow and as you start adding more and more team members or they start adding team members, right, everything starts to grow. I will tell you, I wish I had known that I should have been more proactive in setting a schedule for myself and setting daily to-do lists. Now, a to-do list really can look like this. It can be maybe the top 3 things that you want to get done for that day. And again, that's not every single day of the week, right? Maybe you've got a couple Facebook parties going. Maybe you've got a craft fair or a vendor event that you're going to be going and doing. Um, Maybe you need to be doing follow-ups, right? Maybe you need to be having conversations. Maybe you need to do some marketing for your own personal business, right? You sell to work your business to be able to at least hit your minimum of 500 PRV to be able to be paid at title, right? You got to do your work too. So being able to somewhat assign a day to each piece of my business was something that it helped me in so many ways. And so Mondays for me usually look like more personal development, right? I would try and catch a YouTube training or a training that my superstar director would put up, right? Or somebody else that I would follow, right? Or if I was in a program, I would do that. Monday nights were literally around that and kind of setting up, what does my week look like? Am I going to have a really crazy day? Am I going to have to, work extra reports because I was in accounting at my job. And so end of month, it was a blur for me. Lots of reports, lots of things that needed to be done. So I knew that those weeks were just going to be absolutely ridiculous. And more than likely, I ended up having to do work while I was at home after getting home from the job, right? So I could plan my week accordingly and go, okay, well, this isn't going to get done that day. I need to move it over here. Tuesdays for me were really more training days. It's obviously still kind of bled over into, how my life is now. But Tuesdays were my training day. That's when I put out content. I would help either doing a video or go live, things like that. Wednesdays were really scheduled and really touched on follow up and customer service. So if I had somebody that had ordered from me, how was I following up? Was I going to send them a thank you note? Was I going to text them? Was I going to check on the status of their order, right? Those types of things. Thursdays for me were mail days. So I would make sure if I had any parties going out, if I was sending samples, right, before or for the scent of the month, right? I wanted to get those samples out every single week. Um, and maybe I needed to send a catalog to someone, right? Things like that that needed to be done. That was done on Thursdays. And then Fridays was what I love to call my catch up day. So that was anything that I didn't get to in all of that time was happening on a Friday. Saturday was my social media day. That's when I would sit down and schedule posts for my business page on Facebook, my VIP page on Facebook. Um, and, obviously on the weekends, I didn't work my job. So it was a lot easier. I would literally sit on the couch with my laptop scheduling posts for a couple hours as I was watching like Food Network. And that's really how it went. Sundays have always just been family day for me. But do you see how every day had a piece on it, right? A piece of my business that I needed to work. a piece for my sales and my personal business, a piece for my team, and a piece of training or rather maintaining my team really. So again, if it got around on Friday that, oh my gosh, this week has been an absolute mess. I didn't get to do that training that I wanted to put out. I didn't get to share anything. I didn't even have a chance to read the news tab on the workstation. And that was the day that I would schedule to really catch up on the things that I had missed. Like I said, not all days look the same, right? Some days, because again, my day would usually be like that 8:30 to 10:30 time slot, but on a Friday, I'd stay up later, right? And maybe get some more stuff done. The whole point here is that you really need to focus and fine tune the times that you're going to be working your business. So the times you're going to be working your business, is that going to be spent scheduling things? Is it going to be spent, splitting it up a day to a day to a day to a day? Or is it just going to be, okay, I've got a party I need to work on this week. I know I need to touch on follow-ups, and I know I need to have some conversations about people joining my team. Top three things, right? Top three things. And so maybe you only had one day a week that you could do that. That's fine. Schedule yourself in for those things and give yourself a backup plan if that day didn't work out. I will tell you, you're going to have days where maybe you're sick or maybe you're just not feeling it. It's just been a bad day, whether mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it was, right? Those days are going to happen. We're not perfect human beings. Okay. We have other things that go on in our lives outside of Scentsy. And from somebody who has suffered for years from chronic pain and chronic illness, I will tell you that sometimes those days become more frequent than not frequent. Now, does that mean that my business fell? No, because I still made it a priority to say, okay, today's not a good day. I'm going to have to push this to tomorrow or do what I can. And some nights that meant I was having a really bad flare. So that evening was going to be spent laying down in bed and working from my phone or the laptop, right? I'd bring it in bed with me. I can do that. I can lay down, have the heating pad going, take a muscle relaxer or a pain pill, and I could at least get a few things done, right? You have to have personal accountability for your business when it comes to Scentsy if you truly want this to be a successful business. Okay. Again, remember, if you're doing this as a hobby, then that's a hobby. This is completely different. But I will tell you, from somebody who started out with this as a hobby and had no intention of making it a business, that can also change your mind as you start to grow. Now, you really still have to find, when it comes to finding that balance, you really have to also just lay out for yourself, what are your priorities, and build your business around your life. Build your business around your life, not your life around your business. Because let me tell you guys, burnout is real. And I will tell you that lead is one of those titles with Scentsy that you can stay in for a minute or you could stay in for a while, because it's really finding that key point of, how am I going to continue to grow my personal business, PRV and sales, and how am I also going to continue to be sponsoring new people every single month? I've always made it a goal, to this day, my goal is to sponsor 2 people every single month. That means I need to be having conversations. That means I need to be posting on social media. That means I need to be following up with customers. That means I need to take action to be able to be making that happen. I can't just sit around and wait for somebody to say, hey, I've been wanting to join Scentsy. Let me tell you, I waited for that for a long time. Never happened. I had to make sure that I was being consistent in my business. And one of those ways to be consistent was to have a schedule, have a to-do list. These are things that are going to help you now and in the future and in the future, okay? Because when I joined in 2012 as a hobby, I never thought that in the year 2021, I would be sitting here as a star director with a team and a group as large as I have. So I want you to know that things can change. Things can change over time, and I want you to be the best prepared for it. So having those sponsoring conversations, showing up for your business, when there are meetings that either your sponsor, your upline, your star director, your superstar directors, right? If they're doing trainings, if they're offering things, show up. I will tell you that is one of the number one things that helped me grow my business. I simply showed up, even on the days I didn't feel like it. And I will tell you, those earlier years along that time, we didn't have a whole lot of online training. Okay. Yes, there was YouTube. Yes, there was the workstation and the training section in the workstation, right? But we didn't have all of these Zooms or live trainings, right? I had to make sure that I was showing up when I could and as often as I could, because pouring into yourself is going to be the best investment you will ever make. Your own personal development needs to come from you, and it can only come from you. I can only want this business for you so much. I can sit here and say, oh my gosh, I know you have it in you. I know you can do this. You just have to show up. You just have to have conversations. But if you are the one not taking the action, then the want for me to have it happen for you, it's just sitting here. It's just going to sit here. So you have to own it. You have to take on that responsibility of saying, you know what? I'm worth it. I'm worth giving this business a shot. I am worth helping my family get to XYZ. Your why is going to be the most powerful thing for you. And that is going to help propel you and also keep you motivated towards your goals. Every single month, you should be making new goals. Every single month, you should be consistently showing up for trainings. You should be consistently showing up for your team members. Does that mean you need to be available 24/7? No. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. You do not need to be available 24/7 to your team members. We have plenty of resources already created within the Facebook groups, within the training section of the workstation, within YouTube. You can go on. I don't even know how many other leaders within Scentsy do weekly trainings and upload them to YouTube. You have to find the ways that you're going to dial into your business, and you're just going to have to make that commitment to do it. And that may look like 30 minutes this night, 30 minutes that night. That's okay. Because let me tell you, there is no requirement in the number of hours that you need to be working in your business for it to be successful. Do you know how many people I know who work insane full-time careers and still have an insanely popular and bustling business within Scentsy? There's a lot. Does that mean they come home every night and flip on the TV and veg out on the couch? No, they are making the time to pour into their business. They're making the time to have those follow-up conversations. They're making the time to continue to sponsor, and they're making the time to set their goals every single month. And those are the things that are going to make you shine as a lead consultant. And let me tell you, the more you put into that, the quicker you are going to find that not only is your team going to grow, but you're going to be able to promote and title much faster, much faster. You have it in you, and you have the power to do this. So you have to make the commitment, and you have to make your plan. So this month, I really want you to focus on that. What does your business look like? What does your week look like? How can you plan your week and set yourself up for success? These are the things that are going to get you to your goals. These are the things that are going to help you get to whatever you determine as successful in your business, whether that's income, the number of people in your team, whatever. This is the way. And I know that myself, as your star director, and I know that the rest of our other leaders, our directors, our superstar directors, the other directors in our groups, we all want to see you shine and we all want to see you get to where you want to be. So focus on these things, make your plans. And next month, we're going to be talking about action and some things that you can do to help you frame those conversations and help you get those returning sales. Lead consultants, I love you. This is a magical time in your journey. So embrace it and remember, you are worth it.